Y'all, I'm gonna be completely honest about this Raw. I have not. Okay, there's a difference between like twisted, like that's just. I'm tongue tied here. Like seriously, this was twisted. Like before it ended up, I thought it would be more creepy, but this is twisted. This is one of the darkest Raws I have seen in years. This is a lot darker since I don't know the corporate ministry. No, when I guess when Undertaker literally had Stephanie above on like his emblem and trying to have her strapped, like seriously, everybody remembers what the Undertaker did with Stephanie when he had Stephanie pretty much attached to his emblem and had her hoisted in the air, like that they're trying to sacrifice her. Yeah, that was like absolutely creepy and borderline weird. But this was like twisted, disturbing, dark, man. The fact that you had like a bunch of kids singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands," and the fact they were wearing, I mean, these were kids, these were children. I never thought that they would ever do this on Raw. The one thing that I was really hoping was that they did this at WrestleMania 30. Why didn't you have such an epic build like this for WrestleMania 30? I know you're trying to compensate for what John Cena did at WrestleMania 30 against Bray Wyatt. The fact that Bray Wyatt lost, you're trying to compensate for that by trying to build a storyline at the last minute. I understand that. But I really feel like this was something they should have done at WrestleMania 30. My overall thoughts on John Cena as well as Bray Wyatt is a discussion that I've already recorded, and I'm probably going to put it up a little later on my Wrestling Fan Nation page. So stay tuned to that. I won't say anything more about it tonight. But I will say that I really wish that they did this at WrestleMania 30 because it feels like now that it's, I mean, I don't know. At the beginning, you kind of sort of made it kind of sort of made you feel that Bray Wyatt actually did get to John Cena a bit, but now I still a part of me still don't believe it. I feel like that somehow he just thinks it's a crock of crap because he beat him in WrestleMania 30. But that's just me. I mean, this is a go home show to Extreme Rules. There's no more build after this. And I guess they had to do this at the last minute. But I really feel like this should have been at WrestleMania 30. But I'm going to move on from there. And moving on from something dark to something darker. Let's go into Kane and literally Kane coming back as his sadistic, twisted demon Kane again. And he literally was showing how crazy he can be when he literally tried to. The fact that he tried to drag Brie Bella underneath the ring was something darker that I never really expected. This really shows that the PG era is truly over. The fact you got Brie Bella nearly dragged underneath the ring, and then you have Daniel Bryan pretty much getting the ever loving crap beat out of him by Kane. But I guess the one thing that kind of trumped the whole moment was the fact that you had Brie Bella coming out there going, yes, 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 next to Daniel Bryan. I enjoyed that. I really did. It's kind of cool to see them. I mean, now that we know they're married, it's kind of neat and cool to see them as a couple, like for the first time after Daniel Bryan first got beat up. But if you honestly go back and think about it, I'm like, Daniel Bryan is still getting like a really crappy hand. This guy pretty much had the most epic moment of his entire career, truly a WrestleMania moment. Okay, yeah, due to the streak ending, but beside all that, he had a really great week, like a great month actually. He's a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He married Brie Bella, and he's had a great week. He's actually the face of the company now. But gosh, ever since he returned, he got beat up right and left. There's never really been any comeuppance for him since WrestleMania 30. And that should have been his comeuppance moment, and they should have just moved on from there. But honestly, it's really a weak build, and I guess they had to go to extremes just to get people to be interested in this possible match. Well, actually, not even possible. It's actually a match for Extreme Rules, Kane versus Daniel Bryan. I guess they had to go to extremes to get people interested. But honestly, Good grief, was that dark? That was just something I really never expected to see so much darkness on a show all at once. But I will say this. Wow. I'm not going to say it makes me overly interested to actually see this match, but I will see that I can say this, that the whole tension between Brie and Stephanie, I would rather see them go fisticuffs than actually see Daniel Bryan versus Kane. I'd rather see Stephanie back in the ring again against Brie Bella. I would love to see that. And the fact that she was going against Paige, okay, I mean that's great for Paige. That really is great for Paige. So, but I didn't really care for much for that match. And I thought I would actually see more than one Divas match tonight. But I ended up seeing only one, which is a big shocker. Well, kinda not, because of the fact that it was Brie Bella. But either or, it's really nice to actually see her go against Paige, because it really did help Paige out. And it kind of did make the transition towards what Kane was about to do. So I don't really have any beef with that. But as for the whole John Cena thing in the ring, well, I guess I'm not going to really go back into that. I'm trying not to, because I've already did my explanation on a video that's going to be put up later. But let's go into the littlest feud that couldn't. And I'm talking about El Torito, whatever, El Torito versus Hornswoggle. This is actually going to be on the pay-per-view, y'all. Seriously, I found out from David Rivera on Twitter that this is actually going to be a part of the pay-per-view. Why? Like, good grief. How I care less about the feud between El Torito and Hornswoggle. Seriously, I really don't care much about this at all. I would honestly, but you gotta give him something to do. Like, who is Hornswoggle going to feud with his size? There's only one guy his size, and it's El Torito. You gotta give him something to do. Seriously, you gotta give him something to do. So, this is Hornswoggle's first pay-per-view match. Wow. This is his first, and he's been in the WWE for years, and this is his first pay-per-view match. But it's gonna be probably on YouTube. I can't hate on it, man. At least you give him something, because he hasn't had anything for a long time. He's been either a dwarf, a leprechaun, or somebody's kid. So honestly, this guy actually deserves to have a match of his own. Bravo for him. But here's one thing that really did confuse me. I am not sure whether or not this is an actual match, and my guess is that it just might be, and it should be, is Cesaro versus Jack Swagger. Now, having Cesaro actually beat Jack Swagger, or was in reverse, I don't care much about this feud. I actually care about Zeb Coulter. I really do care about Zeb Coulter going with Paul Heyman. Like, seriously, I want them to go to blows, but then that'll be a really boring match. So honestly, yeah, that really wouldn't work. But the people that made it interesting was Zeb Coulter and Paul Heyman. They made that entire feud interesting. I can't say the same thing about Cesaro and Jack Swagger. They did nothing in this feud at all. Like, you, even though there's given tension there, it wasn't enough to build up without their managers being by their side. So do I really care? No, not entirely. But honestly, I'm not really beefing about this match. I actually kind of sort of looking forward to it until RVD got involved. Now it might be a triple threat match with RVD versus Jack Swagger and versus Antonio Cesaro. Why? Look, before I used to love RVD. I loved RVD back in the day. I had no beef with RVD because he was cool and the guy was awesome and he was extra bendy for a guy. I've never seen a guy that could stretch like that, like literally do yoga poses and not break. But it's the point to where I'm tired of RVD making these appearances and all of a sudden he ends up getting a title shot out of the freaking blue. Like, that's the one thing that bugs me about RVD, is that he doesn't earn it like everybody else. But one thing that really made me happy was the fact that Bad News Barrett beat the ever-loving crap out of him. That makes me happy. And Bad News Barrett is going to be going against none other than Big E for the IC Championship. Yes, I know the guy should have gotten a title shot for the big title a long time ago. But since they merged the belts, and we all know that they don't really do great with foreigners with the World Heavyweight Championship, he doesn't have a shot in the dark in getting the belt right now. Now it's on the hands of Daniel Bryan, which is okay. It's fine. He got his comeuppance. I got no beef with that. There's no way he's going to go up and get that belt right now. But the one thing that makes me happy is that at least he has a title around his waist, even though he's the IC champ, and he actually does the IC championship proud. I will say this. I would rather have Wade Barrett be a great heel IC champion than RVD. That's just me. I got no beef with it. I kind of hope he does take it off of Big E, because Big E was great as a face, but he kind of needs something to give him a kick in the pants. So I kind of hope that Wade Barrett actually beats him. He really needs this. He does. But honestly, guys, I was really absolutely shocked about this show. Like, seriously, I never thought that it would go the twist to the dark. I would never expect how dark it would become. I had some beef about Kane before because he was actually told to become bad by Stephanie. But now it actually sees that Kane is going back to his old psychotic ways, and more sadistic ways, and he's slowly leaving Stephanie's control. So in a way, I'm kind of okay with this. I wasn't before, but I'm okay now. And what really made me okay and great and mark out the entire night were two things. Number one, and I can't believe that he actually did this. We had Damien Sandow dressed up as Magneto. Seriously, every nerd portion in whatever, every nerdness in me, if that's even a word, I know it's not. Everything nerd about me like marked out at that moment. Not only that, it was downright hilarious to see Damien Sandow dressed up as Magneto in Magneto pajamas. It was hilarious. I love that segment. Don't get me wrong, it went too long and it kind of just started fizzling out, but they made up for it in the end. They really did. I love Damien Sandow dressed up as Magneto. And another thing, we end up seeing the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! I love me some Nature Boy. I love me some Nature Boy. I marked out. And I don't mark out, but I'll mark out for the Nature Boy. Seriously. Having him on the side of the Shield, you know he is going to screw over Evolution. And he has a right to. Because the fact that they cut him out, cut out Nate. What's wrong with you? But either or, y'all, I'm going to say this. This was probably the darkest Raw that I have seen in a very long time, but it was the most entertaining. There's a lot of twists and turns here, which really makes Extreme Rules a pay-per-view that is worth watching, in my opinion. But guys, I want to hear your overall thoughts of this show. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send me a video response. I'm even curious to hear y'all's response about John Cena and how you guys really believe that how you feel about him in this storyline. But either or, guys, I have a discussion on that coming up, so stay tuned to that. It's Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.